unfortunately for rich men, they can't help but attract women that like lifestyle more than connection. Because a woman that really values connection, she doesn't like a rich man's lifestyle. A woman that really needs emotional connection, she finds being with a CEO or being with a really successful man is hard for her. She leaves because she wants emotional intimacy. So rich men are almost left with women that love lifestyle, who will compromise on emotional connection in order to get that financial investment. And so rich men are left with a pool of women who are not as connected to them.
She's so right, man. Like I gotta say, I gotta just give her a round of applause. I've been following her for the last like month or so, and she's always on point.
What's her
Last
name?
month,
I
Dr.
was,
Khan.
I was about to say I've never seen her before.
Dr. Khan.
He just loves
Who
her
is
so
she?
much.
I don't
Dr.
really.
Khan. I just said it like,
I
Dr.
don't-
Khan?
Yeah, I don't know like what she does
is
or
she?
anything. Where she's from.
isn't she?
Her name is like.
What is she?
Let's
Or
get the name
I
right.
don't know what
Well,
she is or what
she,
she does. I just
Dr.
know
her
Khan.
primary focus is she does trauma, and she also does relationship coaching and behavioral. So maybe she's not a PhD or a PsyD. Maybe she is just a licensed clinician.
Or maybe she's just a coach.
Or maybe she is. Why do we say maybe she's not? Like
Because
what?
they don't have the
Because
facts.
Alan said she's not a.
Yeah, we don't know.
Well, I do know that. So what I will say is the first thing I saw with her was about. She's actually said this. I think something similar of this on this to another podcast or another interview, whatever it may be. And she specifically spoke about the Dubai men and women and the lifestyle there, which I thought was interesting because it was basically what she said here. She just made it on this video. She made it more vague versus when she was speaking about the Dubai lifestyle. She was more, what's it called?
Precise?
Specific. Yeah, specific on it. But I've never been to Dubai. I never lived in Dubai, but I can only imagine that there is some truth to what she's saying about the lifestyles, and maybe she might not be speaking for the whole world, of course, but if you think about where she's at in Dubai, they have amongst the most wealthiest people and ways of living. So and it only makes sense, like it makes sense there.
Okay, so she was saying that there's a lack in emotional connection when you're dating someone who is, busier or has a certain lifestyle, and I think that's why it's detrimental to, like, regular people, not regular people, but it's like you look up to people who have those types of relationships where the woman is living a very, very,
Luxurious.
yeah, a nice fluffy lifestyle that you want, but then that means that you probably have to be with a man that you're not accustomed to being with, and you can't, that relationship is just not going to work. So you think
Yep.
you want something, and then when you get it, it's like, this is not what I knew I had to sign up for.
Yep.
So I think, like, that's the most important, like, message in that is when you deal with someone that's on a certain level, you might have to be a person that can be just as disconnected so that it can work.
But that's what she's saying is happening. She's saying that the women who are financially driven and focused for relationships are not realistically.
Happy.
No. She's saying that they're not capable of having an emotional bond with that man because their primary focus is not emotion. They're basically living and operating out of survival or out of the desire of luxury.
Yeah.
So emotion and maybe affection, if we tie emotion to affection, are not the number one priority for that woman. So if you're a man who does have, this luxury lifestyle or way of living, and you're wanting those emotional connections, you're gonna, and specifically I know she spoke about this in Dubai, they're gonna have a harder time finding a woman who's going to be able to fulfill that because they're really there for the way of life rather than loving the man.
And with that being said,
I'm sorry. Can we replay it? Because
Yeah, go ahead. Play it again.
I got something very different from it.
and I also, can I say something real quick?
Yeah. I, just
I
wanna
also
receive
think
it.
that because we were talking about like is the modern dating right now setting us up for divorce, right? I think that is kind of like, because it's something that everyone is looking forward to. Like, women want to live this luxurious life, and they want to have a man that provides by any means, and provides that lifestyle. So what it really boils down to is, did the connection ever really matter? And are people
Good point.
trying to get into situations that where the appearance of your lifestyle is more important than the relationship that you have with the person.
No, I just wanted to make sure I understood what she was saying.
Because she did speak on it in both ends, but yeah. So I think that going back to what Marie was saying with the illusion of options, right? That's what you said.
I love that.
Mhm,
That's
that's good.
paradox of choice, but
Paradox,
yeah,
but like
Disillusion.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I think that we've been fed lies in our entire lives. Like I hate when people say you can do anything you want. I hate when people say you can be whatever you want. I hate when people say there's someone out there for you. No, there's not, and no, you can't.
That's
And
your
no, that's the reality because when you live as such, you're left like, why am I having a poor outcome? And it's really because what you think you have the choice of, is it possible? Hell, anything is possible. But the odds are like winning the lottery. And if we know how the lottery works here, right? I don't know how many millions of people play. Only one person wins. But for some odd reason, it gives the illusion of hope, which is like a disease. And then people just think that they can be the lucky one too. No, you can't. No, most likely you won't. So when we understand that, then that's gonna make us understand, hey, look, that woman over there, guess what? She was able to find a rich man that loves her right. Most times it's not that way.
Mhm.
Hey, that man over there, he thought that girl was going to treat him right or be what he wanted her to be. Most likely she won't. So when we understand that the reality is the odds of what we are, desire, like they gave us the paradox of choice that we can have and achieve any type of relationship is not true. But it's funny, like when I think about it with proven
Honest talking
concept,
to the audience.
I also feel like a lot of things have fell off. Like marriage back if we go like 1,500, 300, 200 years ago, marriage worked because there was even exchange, right? If it wasn't the partner, it was the partner's family or someone within that family. Somebody was putting in some type of equal value, right? But now we got this new theory of marriage where it's just love based, right? Where it's like, okay, if you make me feel some type of way, then that means that we can last longer or whatnot. But then 9 times out of 10, your feelings going to be shifted and changed for many different reasons. Sometimes you only feel this way because this person can provide certain lifestyles for you. When that person loses their job or for any reason why the finances run tight, they can no longer provide that lifestyle for you. Now all of a sudden the way you feel has changed. But if we really go back to the foundation of things, then I think proven concept works. But at this point in time, modern dating in totality has no structure, has no foundation, and really has no real theory. We have no real studies because everybody who's really living in this modern day world of dating is probably like 21 to 29.